Is James Gunn's Superman about to be the best Superman movie ever made? Hey everyone, welcome to Digital Charcuterie. My name is James. Thanks so much for spending part of your day with me and stopping by. If you like this video and you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button as well. We talk about Superman and the DCU all the time. And I gotta say, Creature Commandos as the kickoff to the DCU, it's a series that keeps getting better every episode. Last week, episode 4, I thought was phenomenal. Can't wait to see what we're gonna get in episode 5. But of course, on Thursday, the day that episode 4 dropped, we got this Superman trailer. James Gunn Superman trailer finally dropped, 9 a.m. Eastern time, and it was the most viewed trailer in the history of Warner Brothers and DC. Unbelievable numbers, and people seem to be very happy about it. It's also, I think, the best most liked, or top 1 or 2 most liked of DC Studios films on YouTube of them all. So people are enjoying that trailer. I thought it was perfect. I know some people that weren't too in love with it, but I thought it was a phenomenal trailer, perfectly placed. I've said this in another video, so I won't waste too much time on that, but I just thought it was perfect in so many ways. But on that day also, DC, Warner Bros. Released a statement regarding the movie, and they talked a little bit about it and who's involved. So I'm going to look at this right here to tell you a little bit about the synopsis of Superman, James Gunn Superman, what I think of it, and something else that tells me that we are in for something very special. And here's the statement here. Superman, DC Studios' first feature film to hit the big screen, is set to soar into theaters worldwide this summer from Warner Brothers Pictures. In his signature style, James Gunn takes on the original superhero in the newly imagined DC universe with a singular blend of epic action, humor, and heart, delivering a Superman who's driven by compassion and an inherent belief in the goodness of humankind. DC studio head Peter Safran and Gunn are producing the film, which Gunn directs from his own screenplay based on characters from DC Superman, created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. And then it goes on to who stars in it and the crew, and then it ends with Superman will be in theaters and IMAX nationwide on July 11th, 2025, and internationally beginning 9 July 2025, and it is distributed by Warner Bros. Pictures, of course. So that right there, it doesn't tell you what it's about, obviously, but it's a little brief synopsis to tell you the style, the tone, and what they're going for. It's classic James Gunn, obviously, but it's also, they really are pushing home, pressing in that Superman is the originator, right? He's the original superhero. They want you to know that. And James Gunn also spoke to Games Radar, who's at a convention, and Games Radar was there, and they wrote a little article about it. You could check that out. And he says in there, though, he's living Peter Safran's dream. Peter Safran, of course, the co-exec CEO of DC Studios with James Gunn. His dream was always to make a Superman movie, and now James Gunn is the one who gets to make that with Peter Safran overseeing it, obviously. So he's living his dream. And you combine that with James Gunn, obviously, when he first went to DC and he did the Suicide Squad, they wanted him to do Superman, but he didn't want to do that Superman. So you could take that with whatever you want. I'm thinking, it was the DCEU world. He didn't really want to play with Superman in that world, obviously. If he did, we would have Henry Cavill in there right now. But he wanted to do something else, so he did the Suicide Squad, and now he's doing Superman, which he was writing before he even got the DC gig. This is just something that's been on his mind that he wanted to make, that he's been wanting to tell. The Superman story is something that he's wanted to tell just on his own without even having a proper outlet to do so. He did the same type of thing with Creature Commandos, which, like I said, it continues to grow and progress and get better and better each week. So I have a lot of hope and confidence in what he's doing with Superman. I can't see this movie not being anything special. Also, look, this is the start of the DC Studios. I've said this so many times, but it has to be good. It can't not be good. And the one thing he's doing is, I did a video the other day about Pattinson and when Pattinson in DCU. And, that's, of course, take that all with a grain of salt, obviously. But, of course, someone else came out and said, hey, there's issues with the VFX. So they're happy with it. And Gunn came out and said, are you nuts? No, there was some issues prior with some other people. But the people we have in now, that was months ago. The people we have, Pierce is all paraphrasing. But the people we have in now are phenomenal, doing a great job. And we're going to give them the time they need to get the job done for its July release. he is very forthcoming and open and honest with everything. So if you don't get a response from James Gunn when you bring a question or pose a question to him, then you start to be like, okay, maybe there's some truth to what's going on. But he will get to it. He has no issues getting to the bottom of anything and setting the story of the record straight. So I would just trust everything there. But I really believe like after that trailer, which I thought was phenomenal, you got Krypto, obviously, and all the other superheroes, the Superman and Lois Lane. And Lois and Clark are going to be, I'm really curious. I'm really looking forward to seeing their relationship and their dynamic. Like, I suspect that she knows Clark Kent and Superman are one. That's what I suspect. Obviously, she kisses both of them. I suspect that's the case here, but we don't know. It is in the middle of the action, as James Gunn said. So you would kind of, I guess you would assume, which you should never do, that they do know each other, but you don't know. You don't know where they're going with that. They might, she might find out in this movie or whatever. But I'm leaning to believe that like that's all taken care of. Lex doesn't know that Clark is Superman. But he knows Superman and he hates Superman. And I love the idea of that as well. Nicholas Hoult saying there was a moment where Superman flies in and the cast, or the crew and the cast around him was just in awe of David Corenswet in costume. And I love the idea that Lex Luthor just hates this guy. He just flat out hates this guy and he's going to be a badass villain. And the theatrical version of this trailer, which I believe is with Sonic 3 this weekend, it has more clips and a little bit more scenes. You get more Mr. Terrific in there, I believe, and some more Lex Luthor. I've seen the stills only. I haven't seen the actual trailer. I haven't seen Sonic 3. I can't get out of the house. It's Christmas. Don't joke. Also, if you haven't checked out Holy Christmas Batman from my friend Brian Royer, link in the description below. It is a jolly good time. And see more of what they're doing with these movies and how these characters interact with it all. But before they started shooting, James Gunn had a big cast dinner. He got all the cast together and he said, we're going to have some dinner, and he had this to say to the cast. I got this from DCU Updates on Twitter, James Gunn, on how he summed up what he wanted for Superman to the cast over dinner. I knew that I wanted to have a Superman that stayed true to his origins of being the ultimate good guy, shares Gunn. It's a movie about kindness. It's a movie about being good. When we had our cast dinner, the night before we started shooting, I was like, at the end of the day, the world doesn't always seem to have so much good in it. And this movie has to truly be that. And that means that we had to be good to each other, and we had to be good to the crew, and it had to be that authentically. So there was a kind of like an unspoken rule on the set that everybody has to be positive and nice to each other. And that's the truth about Superman. And I've said I love Man of Steel to death. I love that movie to death. But I think he's absolutely right, especially in the day and age we live in now. Like, you see the world has changed drastically. You're left, you're right. There's no one in the middle. You can't get along. Your opinion's right. My opinion's wrong. That's all it is anymore. And Superman is above all that. He is just pure goodness. And I think what we had with Man of Steel was great for its time, but now I think the world needs a Superman like this. We need a figure to come in and be like, hey, you can just be a good person. You don't have to worry about anything else. Just be a good person at the end of the day. And I think this movie, I think you hear him say that, and I think just an optimistic approach to movie making as a whole is something that I think has been lost. And you hear James Gunn talking about how the script comes first and scripts matter, and that's why Clayface got greenlit, is because the script was perfect. I think honestly, I really believe that this Superman movie is going to be phenomenal. I think James Gunn, he's going to be so dialed in making this. And I think, and I've said this before, he's going to remove as much as, and you saw that in the trailer. The trailer wasn't all James Gunn jokes. You got Krypto, I think, was the most James Gunn you could get in there. Maybe Guy Gardner's hair, but that's not even James Gunn. That's just comic accuracy, which I think is important also. It's like, if you're going to do a comic book movie, he wants to say, like, look, we're going to stay comic accurate. We're going to stay true to the source material that you know and love. So don't worry, we got you. We are protecting these characters. We're going to treat them perfectly. And that's what I think we're going to get. And I think Superman's going to be the one that kicks us off, because obviously, Creature Commandos is obviously kicking it off, but it's so low-key, right? It's animated. These aren't well-known heroes or villains or anything. These are the lesser-known of the lesser-known. They are the monsters. And I love that Superman's coming, and the trailer looked phenomenal. I think it hit. The numbers are doing gangbusters. I'm sure kids that are singing in front of Sonic 3 are losing their minds. And Superman's back. Superman's back. The DCU is back. And I cannot wait to see where it goes. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you believe in James Gunn Superman or not? Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Give us a like and a subscribe. And until next time, may be the master of your own universe.